So I'll do a quick introduction. This is Ryan. He's with Ronin. They're out of California, just south of LA. He's up at probably before 5 o'clock this morning to come meet with us. So he's a couple hours behind us. So we appreciate you doing this for us early in the morning.
No problem.
So we wanted to get everyone together. This is a new device we just purchased. We've done some training with our local Texas Rope and Rescue certified trainer, but there's some little unique things about the equipment that we've learned with, especially the startup of the equipment, that we'd like you to take us through.
Sure, not a problem.
I'll just kind of feed you the information off this list as you go. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. I mean, I've got the list here, so I'll start from the top. And good morning, everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time. Like Doug was saying, the equipment is. It's not like something that's been used before widely in any industry. It's not like going to, pick up a power drill or a chainsaw where they're all pretty much the same. It does require a little bit of training since it's not really an adopted technology. So let's just go ahead and start from the top here. Weight capacity, very important. So max safe working load is what we'll call it, is 400 pounds, 181 kilogram. Basically what we're saying is the unit will pick up more than 400 pounds just because of CE and ANSI certification requirements. So you can shock load the system with max weight a little bit like that, and it'll let you get away with it. But we still want to limit you guys to 400 safe working load pounds at all times. Now, if you're doing any kind of rigging or mechanical advantage lifting, you can do a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1. So you can do 800 or 1,200 pounds. We do not allow more than a 3-to-1 with the system. Just because we like a 10 times multiplier on what the housing is capable of doing before it deforms. So keep that in mind when you're doing your rigging if you want to kind of do some special stuff like that. When we're looking at battery life, you're looking at about, so it's weight driven. We're lithium ion, and more amps you pull, more battery you use. So with a 200-pound guy ascending on an SRT, no mechanical advantage or anything, you're looking at about 800 feet of ascension on one battery charge. Or if you go to 400 pounds max load, you just basically cut that in half. You'd be about 400 feet of ascension. And when I say ascension, it's because you don't use battery on the down. So you're always just back driving the gearbox when you open the brake and come down. And that's kind of another safety feature, is the gearbox will always limit your speed when you're coming down. It will not allow you to fall faster than 3.2 feet per second, even at max weight. So just keep that in mind too with the system. And charging time.
Just to add to that too, our nature of our work is we go up a little bit, we do our work for a while. We go up a little bit, we do our work. So it's not like we're continually going up to the top and working down. We'll probably still start low and then go high.
Good. Yeah, no, that's good to know. That just brings another point when you're using the system, and I'll show you guys a demonstration shortly. The brake is what we call always positive braking. It just means when you go up, the brake is always on. Once you let go of the thumb wheel or you stop, the brake is automatically on. If you pull the thumb wheel down and you want to go up a little further, you don't have to do anything. The brake will just release itself and then go back on. So keep that in mind. There's just some redundancies built into there to make it a one-handed operation, as we call it. Okay. Charging time for the battery, very simple. Number one rule when you're charging the battery, just remember to remove the battery from the unit. And the charger is, it's good for any country. It's good from 100 volt to 240. So whatever you plug it into, it's going to automatically adapt. But that makes the average charging time about 2 to 2.5 hours for a full charge. And there's a green light on the charger when it's good to go. And then when it's charging, it'll be red. So very simple, very basic. A lot of guys ask if they can get like an inverter to plug it into their truck or something like that. Feel free if you want to go ahead and find one. Like I said, the charger will automatically convert to whatever voltage you plug it into. Okay. Ropes. Very good question. This is where I would say 99% of our new customers have the biggest issue. So we accept 10 to 12 mil ropes. And when I say if your metric isn't as good as mine used to be, that means no half inch. Half inch is very popular in the United States and only in the United States, apparently. The rest of the world hardly ever goes above 11 mil. But 10 to 12 mil ropes is our sweet spot. We like a good static line, low elongation. A lot of ropes work really well with the system. However, a lot of ropes do not. So we didn't want to be like kind of some of our competitors where they only accept one type of rope and they call it their rope type of thing. We want to allow you guys to work with whatever you're comfortable with or whatever brand it is, but it does not mean every rope is created equal. So I think you guys were using the KM3.
Yes.
Okay. Good rope for wear and long time resistance. I would recommend the KM3 Max in the future when you guys order your next set, but you'll still get plenty of cycles out of the KM3. And when you're looking at rope, I wouldn't retire it. A lot of guys ask the same question. How do you know when to retire the rope? How do you know when it's done? When you see inner core is probably the best way to do it. The KM3 is going to fuzz pretty quickly with the mechanical system. So you'll see it just wears over time, and especially if you're hot lapping the same rope. So, if you're just going over the same spot quickly, you'll see that it'll fuzz up pretty quickly, but the KM3 Max will hold up better, and some ropes will just hold up better. But I'll send you an approved ropes list too, Doug, when I get a second, and tell you what our top ones are.
And we just purchased a KM3 Max from you guys that's on its
Perfect.
way.
Okay, yeah, no, you guys will really like that. That's a good solid rope, and that's actually what I'll be showing you today that I've got hanging in the shop here. So when I put on a harness and we start doing some ascending and descending and rope loading, it'll be on that. I got my camera guy.
And do you want to tell us what size rope that we bought? That's the 7/16. That's pretty much the most common type of rope, right?
Yeah, 7/16 is 11 mil, and basically that's what the KM3 and KM3 Max are. That's what you're really gonna like. It's kind of the sweet spot of the unit because it's right in the middle. But like I said, 10 mil will work, and 12 mil will work. But what you want to think about is 10 mil is a problem if you have too much elongation. So the system supports 10 mil, but if you load up a 10 mil rope that's got 6 or 7% elongation, the problem is the rope actually necks down when you load it up, and it shrinks below 10 mil, and then you'll notice the system will drive it, but the brake might creep down. So it's never in a state where the brake will fall. It's just that it's going to slip down very slowly when you're trying to hold in place to work on something.
Gotcha.
Okay. Burning rope ends. I actually have a setup here that I want to show you guys. So when you burn an end, it's something you really only do once. Maybe you may, for the life of the rope, maybe you have to touch it up as you go along. But very important to remember, all you're trying to do is not see the inner core of the rope on the end. And the only reason we have this issue is sometimes if you're loading rope and you're just holding the thumb wheel down and you're just letting the drive shaft spin on it, it can pull out the inner core of the rope, and then it's like I equivalent it to a boat on the water driving over a rope, and it's just getting wrapped around the prop shaft. So let's go ahead. If you guys have a second, I'd like to show you how we do the rope burning process. So you'll see most ropes will come like that, and it's got like a hot glue kind of knife to it when it comes right out of the bag. That's not what we would consider good enough. That could still come out and the system can still grab it. So what you'll see is I'll kind of milk back the outer jacket just a little bit. And all I'm going to do is...
Can you pull the camera over a little bit more? There you go. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So we're just pulling out just a little bit. And all we want to do is we want to just get rid of about just a couple centimeters, maybe half an inch of that inner core. Let me go around the other side. It might be easier for them to see. Yeah. Easier when I don't. When I have something to hold it for me. There you go.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, you had the best scissors.
Well, yeah, we got some rope cutters. I couldn't find them this morning, so. But all we're doing is we want to just cut off a little bit of that inner core. That way, it goes back inside. And then what we want to do is we just grab a torch, and you're gonna hit the end of the rope. And once you get the inner core a little hot, let it go for about 10 seconds or so. Then you'll just grab a rag real quick, and you just want to cone the end. So you're just kind of milking and coning the very tip of the rope. And then you'll very quickly see inner core is gone, and it's just coned on the end.
Sorry.
Oop, there we go. See how there's your screen. So you guys got that good?
Back up just a little bit. Maybe turn it to the side. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So you just milk back that inner core a little bit, cut off about 1/2 inch, put the jacket back over the top, and then just torch and burn, and then just hit it with a rag, and then it's really one and done, and you're good to go. And the best rule of thumb is just make sure you can't see inner core from the end of the rope.
Is there a way to make this bigger on the camera? So, yeah, that way I can see a little bit easier. Or we're just trying to adjust the camera frame so I can see what I'm seeing a little better.
I don't think you can. No, you
No,
can't do that.
can't do that. Okay. All right, that's fine.
You just have to watch that little screen.
All right.
Okay. Any questions on that, Doug?
Any questions, guys? Nope. I think we're good on that.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
to,
like I said, it's real quick and
demo
simple.
Before we demo the unit, we'll have to do that on this rope because you can actually see the inner core on what we have.
Yeah, would love to. If you guys want to go grab a lighter will work too, but a torch always works a little quicker.
Yep. I got a lighter here and some scissors, so.
Perfect. Yeah, just go ahead and we can watch you do that real quick, and then we'll move to the next step.
Macario? Yeah, let's do it. Where you going, Macario? You bet. Just go ahead and grab the end of this rope. Cut the end. I would just cut it. I'm going to try to flip my camera around. Can I do that, Joe? Oops. Where's my flip button? Just touch the screen. Look at that. I'm connected to a projector, so I'm going to do the best I can.
Yeah, no problem.
Now we're just cutting the inner core. We just cut a fresh piece of rope.
Okay. Yeah, just a small amount of the inner core off.
Just a small, okay.
About 1/2 inch.
Okay.
And then, yeah, milk that outer jacket back over the top so it's the inner core is kind of sunken in a little bit.
Yep.
Perfect. And then just torch the end and then get a rag. Right after you're done heating it up, you'll want to hit it with a rag and you're basically just milking and coning the end.
Why don't you take those gloves? Yeah, use the back side of the glove. And use our glove for our rag.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah.
We don't light our office on fire. Pretty cool training. You get to tell my guys how to start shit on fire.
Yeah, well, everybody likes a little bit of fire in their life, I guess.
Hey, we're guys. We like that, right?
That's right. We actually, Doug, just so you know, we do, while you guys are finishing that up, we do have a rope burning tip is what we kind of made. Because like I said, this is probably our biggest issue of new users. All we did is make a tip that goes on basically any soldering iron. And so we use rechargeable ones. We just keep in our kit, rechargeable soldering irons. And this tip, you heat it up for 90 seconds on the soldering iron. And then you don't even have to cut any end of the rope or do anything to it. You just hit the tip onto the end of the rope with the soldering iron tip and hold it together for about 30 seconds and then just cone and milk, and it fixes itself.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know when we get some of those ready to rock. And just like the rope brush, it's real cheap. I think it's like $25, and then you guys can have that for your arsenal.
Okay. No, that went pretty well. We're just doing the other end. So you want to go ahead and continue on, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys some rope loading here and how we walk through that. So with our same tip that we just burnt, kind of a little step-by-step process with the unit is a lot of guys get kind of nervous when they slap on the battery. You have 2 Anderson connectors, and we run some pretty decent amperage here, so it's going to be a tight fit. So don't be afraid just to go ahead and slap it down. It's not something that you're going to hurt or anything like that. And then, so the tensioning system, you'll notice, easiest way to describe the knob at the bottom is it's the opposite of what righty-tighty, lefty-loosey is. Always think you're the opposite. Righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So when you want to release tension to load rope, you turn it to the right, and that's actually pulling a tensioner down inside the system, so it creates space for the rope to go around the drive shaft and come out the exit hole. So we always go all the way fully to the right when we're loading rope, and you'll know you're fully to the right when the lever arm is bottomed out on the housing here. Okay, got it. And then we'll grab our hopefully 10 to 12 mil static rope, and you're going to push in until it stops from the top. And once it stops, you just want to push with some force and tap the thumb wheel. And it's always remember to tap. You don't want to hold and do this. What that's doing is it's going to sit on the rope, heat it up, and then it's going to start melting the outer sheet. So you just want to tap and push. And all you're trying to do is get in about 8 to 10 inches of rope. Okay. And then you'll come to the bottom here, and what you'll do is you'll turn this to the left. And that's going to start putting some tension back on the drive shaft. So you'll turn to the left as this kind of lever arm is floating here, and that's what we call the neutral position, where it's really loose. And you'll open the brake just to get out of the way, and you'll tap the thumb wheel, and you'll see the rope start to move, and then it'll come out the exit hole. Now, if the rope was barely moving or just wasn't quite moving at all, what you would want to do is just come down, and you'll turn this just another turn or two to the left just to add just a hair more tension. But that's only with smaller diameter ropes usually. Okay. Okay. You guys want to give it a shot on your side?
Yeah, we'll have our guy Macario do that again. Now you know how to do it properly. Such a difference when we learn that. Max, can you hit that light? Go all the way to the left. I'm sorry, to the right, to the right.
Yeah, think opposite. Yeah.
Yep. Keep going. Yep, all the way. So that little bar is kind of floating in the middle. Voila.
Perfect. So that's the technique you guys want to use every time. And I can tell you've been practicing, I think, since the last conversation, because that was perfect.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and like I said, the only time I would change anything is if you were to open that brake and tap that thumb wheel and the rope wasn't moving. All you just do is just add a little bit more tension, and we always do tension to the left.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's the easiest portion right there. I mean, it looks like everyone feels pretty confident with that.
Yep, we're good on that.
Good. So next thing we have here is we're going to talk about the tensioner a little bit, and then I'm going to throw on a harness and show some kind of just how we ascend, descend, and how you want to set the tensioner for your weight before you lift. Okay. There we go. So basically, like I was saying, the tensioner system, very basic. Either you're adding tension to lift weight, or you're taking tension off to take the rope out, or basically release weight. So after we've loaded our rope, what we want to do is turn this to the left, and we want to just get it to what we call about hand tight. So I would equivalent it to maybe about 25 foot-pounds of force, and then you're able to pull the thumb wheel and grip the rope a little bit. So what you'll notice is if you didn't have enough tension on here, if you forget and turn it the wrong way, it's just going to slip on the system. It's not the end of the world, but you don't want to let it keep slipping on the system. So see how I'm not going anywhere? That's no good. Anytime that happens, or you can feel it slipping a little bit, you just stop, and you want to turn this to the left some more until you get some traction on there. So it's not the end of the world if you forget, but just realize what's happening before you start, melting the outer sheath of the rope and getting all crazy. So once we have enough tension on there, it's definitely going to lift our weight.
Yeah, that was the problem that we saw, was we didn't tension it tight enough, and we were just hammering the knob, and we shredded some of the rope, and it got buried inside that housing.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was our first call. So be conscious. If the ropes, I always say spinning ain't winning, but if you're ever pulling the thumb wheel and the rope's not moving and it's in the system, stop and turn more to the left. It's a no slip system. I don't care if you're lifting 400 pounds, it won't slip if you have the right amount of tension on there.
And you should never have to come down here and pull tension on the tailing end of the rope to ascend. So you never have to put any force. You should always be able to go up with one hand. You should never be slipping on the rope.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Good call there. So what I'll do is let me throw on a harness for you guys real quick. Just like to show some of the basics of how we do things and kind of some of the tricks to descending and setting up for your weight. Yeah.
Probably had it into push road.
Okay.
Back's all loose and shit.
Yeah, I can feel it. It feels all retarded.
Yeah.
Got it all. Got it all crazy.
Dude, it's not even.
Oh, like a fat man was in here. Okay, so once we're in and we've turned our knob to what I'll call just hand tight, you always want to just take the slack out of the rope and then just sit down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of set the tensioner for our weight. Now that we're seated in, what I'm going to do is just go up about 5-6 feet. Okay? And I'm going to stop. I'm going to make sure the brake's working fine. It's holding me good. And then if I open the brake, let's say I have this tension too tight, and I open the brake, and I don't come down. That means I've turned this too tight. It's more like, it thinks I'm, more like 350, 400 pounds. So you want to hold the brake open with your hand. You just turn this to the right just a little bit until you start coming down. And then stop. Now it's tension for my weight perfectly. So I can go up and down as much as I want. And it's not going to be an issue from there. So you'll notice when I'm opening the brake, this is a wedge system in here, so it's basically an on-off switch. The brake cannot be feathered. It's kind of like a backup ASAP or something like that. When it's on, it's immediate, it's hard, it's fast. It's also hard on the rope. So when you open the brake, the easiest thing to do is rest your hand on the brake and tap the thumb wheel to release the wedge. And then you just tend the line to slow yourself down. So let me show you guys that again. Anytime you can always just pull the brake handle down. Like I said, it's a little extra wear on your rope. So you can always just do that and then release it at any time. But the easier thing to do is tap the thumb wheel and the brake wedge will come open automatically. And what you'll see when I'm slowing down, instead of just coming down and letting the brake go when I want to stop, the easiest thing to do is pull your tailing line. So if I open the brake and then I immediately switch to my tailing line, I could slow myself or stop without letting the brake drag on the rope. And then when I want to come to a complete stop, just release the brake. So this will save your rope a lot. In any emergency situation, you can always just release the brake and it's going to stop on you, but it's going to drag on the rope a little bit and it's going to start fuzzing in that area. So just for rope preservation, you always just want to pull your tailing line, make it a little easier for you.
Awesome.
Okay. Really, that's your biggest things. Like I said, you could do 2-to-1, you can do 3-to-1, and that's kind of what this upper clip is up here. So this attachment point is also for rigging. A lot of guys, you could tether the Ronin up at the top of something, and then pull up from the bottom. You can do a pulley system over the top directly to this attachment point. You can do, like I said, 2-to-1, 800 pounds, 3-to-1, 1,200 pounds. Just depends how you guys are using the system. I'm not sure if it's more for just lifting people or if you're doing any kind of mechanical advantage, winching and things like that. But just know it has the availability. The system doesn't know any better. It still thinks it's 400 pounds. Now, if you get your math wrong or something like that, there is redundancies built in. You're going to have an amperage cutoff in the battery. So if you ever shock load the system past 525 pounds or so, the battery is just going to shut off the system. And all you would do is, at that point, is you'll just take the battery off, wait about 10, 15 seconds, and then you're going to want to slap it back down. That'll reset the system and allow you to do what you need to do. Another good point is you don't need battery to come down. So another good thing to remember is, even if you're just trying to finish that job for the day and you notice you're out of battery, can't do that. You can always just pull the brake open and come down. It's not a situation where you're ever going to be stuck on the line or anything like that. So just keep that in mind too, guys. Let me show you one more thing. Like I was saying, if you're ever in a situation and you're getting confused about which way to turn the tensioner, simplest thing, if you don't have enough tension on it, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see it. Okay? Anytime you see that, just let go of the thumb wheel, give this some more cranks to the left. Then you'll be good to go. And you can fix it on the fly. As you're going up, just turn it a little bit tighter. It's no big deal. But just remember, don't sit there and just spin on the rope, because it's going to start melting the outer sheath, and then you're going to have some rope wear issues for sure.
Okay.
All right. Any questions there, Doug and team?
Is there anything we need to do on the other end of that rope? On the dead end side?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends how you're rigging. I always recommend burning the other end of the rope just in case. So you guys did purchase a rope brush, and the way we train some of these like power electric companies and things like that is they'll detach the other side of their rigging from the tower or whatever it may be, and then they'll put the rope brush on, and then they'll run all the way through the system the rope that was being used up on the tower, just to clean it off and things like that. But how you want to rig it is completely up to you. I know my boss Bryant here always says we're not climbers by trade. We're engineers. So we came from the helicopter industry that make the hoists and winches for helicopters. So I don't want to tell you how to rig, and I'm more the guy that can barely do a figure eight, and if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. So it's going to be up to you guys to rig, and it's all industry specific. I mean, if you go talk to an arborist, these guys don't use backup ASAPs and secondary lines, and it's like cowboys and Indians. But I always recommend we use the Petzl backup ASAP and a secondary line. So that's what you always want to practice and preach.
Okay. You have that storage case and that brush handy?
We do have a storage case handy. Do you need me to pull it out again and show you guys how we do that?
Yeah. If you got the brush handy, that'd be cool just to show the guys.
Yeah. No, yeah, not a problem. And I got one over here. Give me 1 second.
Here.
Yeah, could you pull that case out for me too? I got one on the floor right there. Perfect. Let me grab a strand. Oh, there's already rope brush right there. Perfect. And they give me just a strand of rope here. And then always remember too, when you're pulling the Ronin off of the line, and to make it easier on yourself, more tension for lifting weight does not make it easy to get off the line. So you always want to turn this in like you're loading rope again, and then pull the brake open and walk backwards. Okay. And it's always easier to leave it in your harness too, just to walk. Okay. But let me show you how we train for the usage of the rope brush real quick.
Yeah, rope brush is just falling out of the sky, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. We weren't sure about the rope brush when we first did it, but people are loving this thing. So after you've finished for the day or whatever, you're at the bottom. You want to detach the other side of the line from whatever your rigging point is. And you'll have a guy. It's easier if you pull this apart, get some space on it, and you're gonna attach it, wrap it around, just like so. All right, just like that. And I always recommend just start slow. Right? Let it do its thing, and then you'll have the tailing line going into your rope bag or whatever the case may be. All you're going to do is just clean the rope off, and you're just going to pull the trigger and let it run all the way through. Okay?
Yeah, we got one. Coming. That's pretty good. Well, that's awesome.
Good. Yeah. I mean, real simple. The hard case we sent you guys also very simple. Just remember that 2 batteries can sit on one side, so they just stack 2 on top of each other. The cases do come with a piece of foam sometimes at the bottom. You just pull that piece out if you want to put 2 batteries in there.
Yeah, we just ordered a second battery, so that we'll put 2 batteries in that case, and there's a slot for the rope brush too, right?
Yeah. All we do is we just squeeze it together, and then we just put it in one of these carabiner slots right here.
Cool.
So no big deal. Yeah, it's works out pretty good. So just keep that in mind that it does hold 2 batteries. A lot of guys get confused on that, and then of course it has wheels and a handle, so it gets pretty heavy when you're all loaded up.
2 more questions. One is always take the battery out when you're finished, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So the battery indicator that's telling you your charge is hardwired in. Just it's not going through the logic system in there. It's just getting a direct feed. So if you leave the battery on, that's always a constant draw.
Okay. And then second one is leave the rope in when we're finished for the day or take it out.
You can do either or. So we have some guys that just leave it in depending on what they're going to be doing the following day or whatever. But I do notice that guys that leave it in sometimes just kind of throw it in the back of their truck, put the rope in there, and that's a good way to have it bounce around and break your handle off. So just keep that in mind too.
Okay. Yeah, well, probably better to take the rope out now that we know how to load the rope properly.
Yeah, like I said, once you guys get good at it, just practice it maybe 5 times each guy, and it's 10 seconds or less.
Okay. Last question: any cleaning or maintenance required for the system?
So it's a yearly inspection, annual service, and all we do is we replace 2 parts mandatorily, and then of course we'll go through the full complete system to let you know if anything else needs to be replaced. But we have guys doing 800 and 1,000-foot cell towers almost daily. And their units already came back for their yearly inspection, and it was kind of a good test bed for us, and everything was looking really well. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But just remember the kind of like a good inspection before you get started is if you look down in the cinch hole right here, and you can see the brake teeth. If you see a bunch of fuzz and rope fibers stuck in there or anything like that, it's good to just pick that out if you have an all tool or something like that, or just a small file. And then you'll see buildup in there sometimes. And it's good to always clean that out kind of pre-inspection.
Just like we did, we can take the actual panel off, right, and get inside of it if we need to clean it.
I mean, you don't need to worry about that. There should be no reason to take the front cover off until it comes back for annual inspection. Now, if you get the rope, caught in there again, it'd be a situation where we'd have to do that. But now that you guys are, rope loading okay, I don't think you'll have that issue again. But all you should need to do is just clean the teeth out on that once in a while, and then you should be good to go.
Okay. You guys have any questions? I think we're good here.
Good. You guys need anything, or you get out there and forget anything, don't hesitate to reach out again.
Yeah, well, we got a nice 35-minute video now, so.
Oh, good. You recorded it.
Yeah, we did.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good, guys. Hope you have a good rest of the day. And like I said, reach back out if you need anything.
Okay. Thanks again for your time, Ryan.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye now.